You are doing too much, and so am I. We are entrepreneurs, so we are doing it all every day, all the time. If that feels like you, let me know in the comments. That's me. You caught me, I am doing too much. You're doing too much, but I'm going to show you how to buy back your time. And I'm going to show you three ways that you can do that, three tools that you're going to get, and then three rules, three tools and three rules. Okay. Now, before I get started with this, I want to tell you that I have personally hired more than 100 people in the last decade across my companies, across states, multiple, like every state, like literally all 50 states, and across countries, a couple other countries other than the US. And my businesses have hired even more than that, hundreds more. And so I've seen it. I've obviously been hired before. I've gone through the interview process before. I know what it's like on both sides. And more recently, I know what it's like to hire. And I know what it's like to not hire, to wait too long, to do everything myself for different reasons. I'll tell you a couple of reasons. One reason I would do that is if I just want more simplicity. I don't want to manage anybody. I have a hard time managing people. I love leading, but I have a hard time managing, right? Do you feel that way at all? It's like, oh, I don't know if I want to expend my energy on that. Another could be money. It could be like, wait, I can't afford to hire anybody right now. I wish I could. But I want to tell you how you can hire someone, even if you don't think you can afford to, so that it actually unlocks more money for you. Because you actually are leaving money on the table by doing everything yourself and not giving your energy to the things that are leveraged. I talk about leverage a lot. And what I mean by that is think about how many hours a week you spend doing mundane things, things that someone else could do for you. It could be answering phone calls, answering customer service, tracking down payments from people. It could be like posting on places. Like you need to be connected to your customers. So doing customer service is great because it keeps you connected. But do you have to do every single email? Do you have to answer and read every single email that comes through? How many hours a day do you give up to simply answering emails? And how many hours a month do you give up by chasing down people who are supposed to pay you and different clients and things like that? So you probably have one or two things that you do in a month for your business that bring in the most money. It could be content, it could be sales calls, it could be partnering, going to events, it could be something that these one or two things make me the most money. And if I could only do more of it, I would make more money. So write that down somewhere. You can even pause this video right now and say, okay, what is it that makes me the most money? When I do this thing, I get the most results. Or even if you haven't made money yet, it moves the needle the most in your company. And then think to yourself, what would happen if I could 2x the amount of time that I get to put into that, or even more, 10x? Then you start to think through, now I understand. Let me try to bring somebody in to do this other stuff that takes up so much of my time, but doesn't move the needle so that I can do the things that bring us all money, right? When you're out there making the money, you're also providing for someone else who you've hired. So it's like a win-win situation. All right. So I want to talk to you about some of the things that people have told me or that I've witnessed or have felt myself when it comes to hiring. And this is an important video, and I hope that you'll stick around for the whole thing because I think that I know I often teach you how to make money. This is how to make money. If you thought that this was not about that, this is not about HR. I'm not going to teach you like HR stuff. I'm going to teach you like how to make more money and how to save more money. Like you are the asset. You are, as Danielle Priestley calls it, the key person of influence. So you need to be doing the most leveraged things. Let me know in the comments if that makes sense for you. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel so you can get more of these videos for free. So you might say, okay, what if I hire the wrong person? What if I can't afford them next month? Like I hire them now, but then I can't afford them. What if nobody cares about the role as much as I do, and so they don't do a great job? What if it's just faster if I do it myself? Or what if no one else can do it? We all think that there's stuff that no one else can do. There is. It's that leverage stuff that I just told you. That leverage stuff is what other people can't do. But I can tell you, a lot of people can do the rest. And if you can let go of it a little bit, it'll change things for you. Okay? So if of those things, I'll read them again for you. Tell me which ones are you. What if I hire the wrong person? What if I can't afford them next month? What if no one cares as much as I do? What if it's just faster for me to do it myself? Or what if I no someone can't do it themselves? Right? So let me ask you this too. So say in the comments which one of those you feel, or you could say all of the above. That's what's been holding you back from hiring. But here's the thing. If you are exhausted, I'm not going to assume you're exhausted because you may not be, but if you are exhausted by your work, that is a signal that you need to bring somebody in, even if fractionally part-time. I'm the queen of the fractional hire, the contract hire, the fractional hire. I even built an entire business around that. And if, by the way, that business 2026, take a look, runner, keep an eye out. We got some really exciting stuff coming. The I just realized that I spelled prompt incorrectly on my whiteboard that I'm looking at. It says prompt shop in a box. Y'all didn't tell me. Somebody put the word prom, prompt in the chat if you're paying attention right now. Say PROMP with no T. Just say prompt. And that'll be our thing if I'll know that you're still here with me. Okay, so we're in it. You're like, okay, I'm listening. I hear you. I am exhausted. You can't scale exhaustion. You can't scale past how exhausted you are. The only thing you can do is bring somebody in to take away some of that exhaustion so that you can break through the ceiling. So you can do more. But you are capped at your potential and your business's potential. Even if it's a small business solopreneur, you are capped at the potential if you're exhausted all the time. Ask anybody who has brought in somebody to help them where it's worked out, and they'll say, "Oh, I wish I did that sooner." They'll just say that. So, could you hire a virtual assistant? Could you hire somebody on Fiverr to come in and do something? Could you hire somebody from Runner in 2026 to come in and do something? Could you bring in somebody that you know to work 10 hours, 20 hours a week, 5 hours a week? You may hire a freelancer, you may hire an employee, somebody on contract or somebody that you're investing in for the duration. Whatever you decide to do, you can do it. And there's a few things that I want you to know rules wise, because I said I had 3 tools for you and 3 rules. Before I tell you the rules, actually, I want to show you this. We're going to fix this problem for you today. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to see these 2 books. You see these 2 books? This is Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell, and this is Clockwork by Mike Michalowicz. They were written or produced or published 10 years apart. Dan's is like within the last couple of years, and you probably see him on YouTube and stuff. And Mike's was 10 years prior to that. But they are about the same thing. And what they're about is, as you can see, buy back your time is what I've just said. Like you are an important part of your company. Not no one is the most important of anything, right? But you are an important part of your company, and you have very special skills and a very special role. And if you are exhausted and overworked and over not like underutilized in the right way, you're missing out. You're also not going to do it for too long. I can tell you that. I've had from like 2018, no, 2019 to 2023, every year I would have burnout to the extent that I'd have to go to the hospital or see a doctor because I was hiring, but I wasn't letting people do their job. That's the thing. Like, I wasn't like hiring to buy back my time. I was hiring because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to hire. You're supposed to have all these people and build, create jobs and do all of this. And I did it with all the earnesty in the world, all of the good faith in the world. But personally, I still thought I created more work for myself in doing so. So I would like for you not to do that. I would like for you to learn from my mistakes of, yes, hire amazing people, but do it so that you're now doing less instead of more. So if you want to do less instead of more, type that in the comments and let me know. Or just kind of feedback. Just tell me a sentence or two about how you're feeling right now. Is this resonating with you? Okay. So, three rules for hiring. This is going to help you. So, I mention these books because I would love for you, if you can, to just grab either one of them or both. If you only do one, I would buy back your time just because it's a little, more recent. But what I did was I have the physical books, obviously, but I got the audiobooks of both of them. And I would go back and forth and like read a chapter and then read a chapter the other and read a chapter and read a chapter, just because that's how I like to read books, is two at a time. And either way, start listening to it or start reading it. I would say download it as an audio only because you'll do it immediately and you'll start to you'll have the information now rather than waiting for it to get there in the mail. Or hop over to a physical store today if you can, if you're able, and pick one up. But the goal and the point is to start today. You don't have to hire today, but start getting prepared to. Because I read both these books over a Thanksgiving weekend a couple of years ago, and I think it was a couple of years ago. It might have been even last year, but I think it was a couple of years ago. And just like I stopped all that burnout nonsense, really, So I want you to pick those up. Wherever you pick them up, you can go to the library. I'm sure they're both there as well. Okay. Then I want to tell you about, and there's a third tool I'll tell you about in a second. It's gonna give you everything that you need in order to hire. Um, and it's gonna blow you away. So, three rules. Ready? Okay. First rule is, and these are my rules. These are what I've learned, tried and true. The first one is you are going to hire for skill and for care. So you're going to hire someone who can do the job, who is capable, and you're going to hire for someone who cares about the job. Those are hard to find, but they are not impossible to find, and you find them every single day. They're people who are great at what they do and they care. So you're looking for that. You're also going to then train them like they're brand new because they are. So does that make sense? So that's something I've made the mistake of in the past, is like, okay, I hire for skill and I hire for someone who cares, but then I assume they know everything already. And you have to realize, like, they're coming into this, even though they've done things in the past, they're coming into your world cold. So anything that you have that you are so used to, they're not going to necessarily know. Even if they follow your work, they don't know how it works on the inside. So you have to train them. You can't assume that they know what you're thinking. That's something my wife taught me in our relationship, but mostly not for us, but for other people, because she would notice that I would kind of assume that people in general could read my mind. And she said that to me like 6 years ago, and it's always stuck with me. It's like people cannot read your mind. So if all else fails, I go back to that. It's like, oh, they can't read my mind, so I have to say it, have to express it. So that's what you're going to do, because that's going to make the best combination of a hire. And again, this could be somebody who works with you for like 7 hours a week, but you're going to make sure that they're equipped. And I'm going to show you something, this third tool in a second, that's going to make sure you have everything you need to make that happen. It's going to keep you organized. It's going to have all the things that you need, standard operating practices, all of that, all in a one little place for you. The next rule is I want you to start documenting everything now, not later. So document the processes that you have in your business that, again, are pretty like normal for you. But imagine you hire somebody and then you go away for a month. That's not going to happen necessarily unless it's like a paternity thing. But imagine that were the case and you said, okay, I have these videos or I have this process, this notion, this something, and you're going to go over here and you're going to study it. It's a course. And then you're going to understand how to do the job. That's what you're aiming for because it won't just be that. You won't just hand them stuff and then run away. You will work with them. But if you give them that, if you like document, okay, I did this thing, let me like the process of how a customer comes in, let me just hop on a Loom or a Zoom video or a QuickTime video for like 5, 10 minutes and just walk people through, walk somebody, this imaginary person through what that process was like. I'll put it in an archive and save it. If you do that across your processes, then when you hire somebody, you don't have to do all this work to train them. You can tell them, okay, go watch these 7 videos over the next 2 weeks and then come back with any questions and then I'll pop in for this. You can train them. And then imagine if you have to, if you ever get to hire a second person or a third person, you can still use the same thing that you built once. And if somebody has a question throughout their tenure, they can go back to this archive. You have it in Slack, you have it somewhere. That is like such a hack. Dan talks about this a lot in this book, but it's just something that we've done, in the most successful situations. Like I've had a lot of not successful situations in my business when it comes to hiring. Think places where I've failed as a leader, places where other people have failed. But the most successful outcomes have come from documenting even before we start hiring so that we are not flat-footed when we do hire. And if you are hiring right now and you haven't been doing that, all good. Hire, document, and then archive the documentation of you onboarding that person, and then use that for the next person. And then my third rule, this is my rule. You don't have to do this, but I highly recommend it, is treat your employees, your contractors, your vendors, treat them like a team, not like family. And that was a tough one for me because I definitely said it out loud. We are a family. This is the family. And it's not a family. It is your work life. It is a business. Everybody has a different agenda in their lives, a different thing that drives them. And they have a family. Your employees have a family at home, okay? They're not your family, they're your team. So you can think of it like a sports team, you could think about it as a business team. But that's important too, because teams can bond and teams can go towards the same mission. And some people, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your opinion. I've just learned that over and over again after hiring more than 100 people over the last decade and being around hundreds of hires out of my companies. I've just seen that that is the best place to start so that you don't have lines blurred when tough decisions have to be made. Let me know in the comments if that's helpful, if that's resonating with you. Now, I want to show you something that is going to help you a lot. If you're still with me, you're my people. Um, let's do the code word if you're still with me. Oh, I'm running out of code words. Okay, let's say the code word is bestseller, because Dan has a best-selling book, and so does Mike. Bestseller, if you're still here. So let me show you this. Okay. So what I've done is I've just bundled everything that you're going to need to hire somebody, and so that you don't have to figure out what to do. So that's the least of your troubles, right? So, by the way, the URL here is a temporary one. It will not be in use, so don't try to just go to it. Um, so this is Hiring OS, Hiring Operating System. And what this is, if you start here, is you duplicate this toolkit into your workspace. So Notion you can get for free, a free version of it. And when you go to this page, if you purchase this, It will open up to this and you simply duplicate. It says it right here, duplicate the toolkit. You just simply click on the duplication. There's going to be a duplication up here and you duplicate it and now it's yours. And what you'll do with that is scroll down here. This tells you all the information that you need. But basically what you'll do is you have all of these things. Like you have everything you need here. So you have prompts, amazing prompts. You have a templates library. You have legal and compliance checklist. Let me show you some of the legal stuff. So you have all of this. You have the W-9 collection payment processing setup, non-disclosure agreement, all the tools, payment processing, uh, U.S. contractors, the form itself. You have independent contractor agreement, non-disclosure, a second version of it. You have templates. You have all sorts of things where you can track hours, you can register payroll, state tax, etc. Okay, that's just one of the clicks. So then you have like this is one that's cool. So you have this email where you can um, make so the hiring announcement, right? So it has your script for hiring, making the announcement that you're hiring. It has your offboarding, onboarding. It has a troubleshooting FAQ, one-on-one feedback. So I love this. So it's like, okay, I have my onboarding email that you got in. Like, okay, you have your offer email before you get in. So it's like, here's your offer. You went through the interview process. There's a offer letter placeholder. There's also like an interview. Let me see if I can find it fast enough. Is this cool? Like, tell me if this is cool, right? You get all of this stuff. So let me see. So there's also a um interview. I can't find it fast enough, but there's in here, there's an interview list. So you can know exactly how to interview somebody. There's this role clarity builder, which is really, really cool. There's a calculator of when to hire. The starter pack, I think that might be it. No, there's all of this stuff here. So just kind of look at this. Screening form, role landing page, candidate tracker. You have all these SOPs. So you have, remember I was telling you about like documenting things? So here's like an operational playbook. So you have all of this too. So you have the library, the fulfillment stuff. You have all this stuff. Okay, I'm not going to keep listing off, but you have everything. So a SOP, standard operating procedure, right? I said process, but it's procedure, right? You have everything you need in order to start working on the hire, to put out the call for a hire, and then to onboard somebody. You even have, if you need to offboard them, if something happens and it's not going to work out, you even have that. You have a checklist, different things that you can say, oh, here it is. Here's the 45-minute interview flow. It gives you every step by step what you should say in the interview or what you could say. There's an onboarding checklist, red flags checklist. This is all what I put together. Okay. So all you have to do is go to the link in the description if you're interested in that. It's for you if you're thinking about hiring someone so that you're ready. It's for you if you are hiring someone or if you're like getting ready to hire somebody right now. It's also for you if you've already hired someone or have somebody freelance and you want all these systems in place. It's a hiring OS, right? Operating system. So if you want these systems in place, if you want these templates, the legal, the guidance, everything that you could, ask for. Obviously, you're not going to get everything legal. Like I'm not an accountant or a lawyer, so you're going to want to have this as just your kind of your archive of forms, but you're going to want to consult somebody, an HR, someone in legal accounting, as your needs get bigger. And it's not for you if you have no interest in hiring somebody, even after this video. Like if you just don't want to hire somebody, this is not going to be super helpful to you. I guess you could get it to, like if you're on a job search, you could have it for yourself to understand what other people are kind of like expect of you. But I mean that's cool. I wouldn't stop you from doing that. But I would just say like it's going to be best for people who are thinking about hiring or actively hiring or have hired. So if you had that word in the sentence, then it's for you. Okay. I hope this was helpful. I hope this kind of stretched your mind a little bit when it comes to what's possible with your business. And I know it's a little bit different type of video for me, but it's actually not. It's like this is the kind of stuff that I deal with in my businesses. I just put a rollout yesterday, was it? Or 2 days ago, on Friday. I put a rollout to about 500 of my members. And I said, I'm looking for this particular role, which is a very important role. And I got dozens of replies. So, when I put out, like, if I were to put out a job search right now, I'd probably get thousands of replies because I've put out calls for actions for things and gotten thousands of replies. So I know what that process is like, and I also know what it's like. It's like, oh, I don't know. Like in that toolkit, you also get like a scorecard of should I hire this person? Are they a right fit for me? And when you get that role builder that you get, that helps you because it tells it what you're trying to do. And it's super simple. And again, you just buy the product hiring OS in the link in the description, and then you don't have to have a Notion account. You can freely duplicate it into your free Notion account so that you can build it out. Okay. I hope that was helpful. I'm excited to see what happens here, to see how many people this helps. We'll see if it gets 100 views or 100,000. See you later.